trying to get the videos done. And, you know, my guides try and talk to me. They're like, Yildiz, you need to do an update. And, you know, I'm very stubborn. I must say I'm stubborn, and I persevere forward, and I'm optimistic I'll get those things done. And it doesn't happen. So I'm here to do an update. I'm going to try and turn the screen and hope it'll turn. No, it won't turn, so we're not turning it. Okay. Now, I did notice the other day, and I've got to be super careful the way I say things. It's only because some things are case sensitive, you know, on certain platforms, so I do have to be careful. Some of this can be hunch energy, predictive energy. It can also be linking into both the astrology. Now, I came across a chart the other day, and I have, you know, the more I study it, the more I'm understanding aspects. Now, there was a slight energy that resembled a previous time. Hi, Dale. And it wasn't looking so great, okay? So in this chart that I was looking at, there is a bit of an aspect coming up, and there has been some interesting energy. I will say, if you have been super comical, all of a sudden it's playing out. Masculines will be having a bit of a funky energy at the moment. So they could be getting into the frequency of maybe being very tired, very trigger worthy. And feminines, and I mentioned this a while ago, where we may get to a space that we feel very detached, very amused. Intimate energy can be rising at the moment where it's coming out of nowhere. But the comedy aspect of things can start coming through in a very kind of nutty way, one could say. So you wake up very angry in the morning. Well, Anticia's occurring, so that can be why. So for the last 3 days, there's been, and again, it depends on where you are in your ascension process, but there has been a slight element for some individuals that has been comedy orientated due to detachment of energy. But there is a little bit going on at the moment where we might be feeling a little bit guilty about some ways, you know, some things we've been dealing with. So it might have been our struggles, our parenting, the sun at the moment with the energy it's in. Just going to open the chart, so bear with me. You're so tired. Yeah, my iron's dropped again. That's why I'm so pasty and yucky looking. Ascension, that did happen to me last time through my awakening. It dropped. And again, I'm not a physician, so if you need things checked, the worn out energy does make sense. Look, Mars going retrograde, it does link to wounds and health. Aries and Chiron currently is still retrograde until the 15th. So again, you know, we do have what we have in the collective at the moment, and with the fatigue energy, with Mars being retrograde, we were getting worn out. And what happens when we get worn out? We become unwell. So if you're guided to have a look at things, plus we have Scorpio there. Yeah, injections, me too, doll. I'll be due for it. I just got to get the time to get in there. Look at me, I'm white and pasty. So with it, make sure you get your checkups. You know, go and do the right thing. If you feel you've got any symptoms or anything, you know, and you're feeling off, if you feel you need a checkup, go and get it done. Scorpio hides things. So, you know, when it relates to your life, if things are coming to the surface, it's hunch energy, it's hidden things. Also, because I do believe we have the sun. Oh, I've been looking at charts for the astrology for the next goodness knows how long. Bear with me for 5 seconds. I wasn't actually intending to come live, and it was like, no, I need to do this update because it's affecting me during the December energy. So we're here. Okay, straight to aspects. I do believe the sun is in Sagittarius. Now, the last time these energies occurred, Sagittarius can link to superstars. It can link to sports energies. And, you know, prior to everything blowing up where we were going into lockdown, I was really paying attention to things in a sense of watching sports stars, superstars, musicians, kings, queens, and really starting to hone in on their energy of their astrology charts. Because with that, it's the South Node. The sun is also in that energy. Let's look at the current planets. Okay, so we currently have the sun at 3 degrees. We have the moon in Aries on this day. We have Mercury at 20 degrees Scorpio, Venus in Scorpio. We also have Mars at 16 degrees. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this is pretty much from the 27th, I believe, There is a similar aspect occurring when the NBA star passed away. And I did notice that, when I looked at it, I was like, oh, gee, this looks like a repeat. The funny thing is, when it is aspecting, there is a point that is coming up linking to Capricorn. This will be a polar opposite energy to what it was on that occasion, and I do believe it can be, because we do link Sagittarius to government officials and things to that degree. So there could be something coming out in the media that was hidden. There also could be an ending with the Taurus energy coming through, where it's a transfer of power over from one hand to another. And this can be really, when you look at Uranus and Taurus, it is the connection to the inheritance energy. It's like the father figure of the universe, go down to Saturn, so it hands it down, and it's handing the throne over, so to speak, to that next individual. There can be a malefic energy that is coming through at the moment. Now, guilt, consciousness, and emotions that can be coming up at the moment. There can be victim consciousness coming up because we still have Aries and Chiron retrograde. There also can be great fatigue energy, and you need to pay attention to your vibration and your health, especially if you're getting really fatigued. Hi, Dale. Another thing I needed to mention, when it does come to your spiritual path in the Gemini eclipse, it's kind of creeping up on us. And, when I was looking at the basic aspects, it wasn't looking too bad. Next month is pretty hectic, and I'm having an interesting way of trying to pull the videos together, because almost the aspects alone as per se are coming down to a full-blown video. So I'm trying to implement it to a point I can either get it where it's a separate video altogether, and I can just give you that energy and then push it in. But I'm working at that at this point, because we do have Saturn and Jupiter moving into Aquarius. We also have conjunction points being made prior to that energy. And moving towards the end of the month, there's about 4 major dates that are highly aspected with major conjunction points. So, what you can see is potentially change in economy, change in finances, information to do with what we're doing moving forward. And people cautiously anyway will be pretty much in that frame of mind. It's like, okay, do we have what we need? You're really guided to moving in December to, ease yourself into the energy of the month. If there's things you need to tie up, you have a window of 2 weeks. Moving towards the eclipse, we're also going to have Neptune going direct towards the end of this month. So, bear that in mind. Psychologically speaking, at the moment, you guys might be feeling very confused. You need to keep your fluid levels up because it's crown chakra. When it does come to things that are hidden, it can be causing paranoia at the moment with Venus in Scorpio. And again, my throat's gone. Probably because I'm talking too fast. And iron. Doesn't help. Any questions? Let me see if there's anything else coming up. Now I'm seeing lunar. What was I saying? I've got it in my chat. Lunar butterflies, or were they monarch? Now that is connected to twin flames. I believe it's a lunar. Let me have a look. I'm not very organised, am I? But it's like I had to come and talk to you. So I can delete it after if I need to. Okay. So it is a lunar butterfly. Now we're going to quickly look at the spiritual meaning. And we've got temperature changes here now. Beautiful. Lovely. Wish you were here. Andrew said to me the other day, he goes, you looked very tired. I'm like, yeah, I'm iron deficient again. I really love to, with these transits, cane myself, don't I? It's like, I'll be okay. This butterfly is a spiritual symbol of the divine feminine and her transcendence. From the caterpillar's perspective, can feel like the death rather than the transformation, and yet the butterfly gracefully emerges whole and complete, beautiful and free. If it helps anyone here, I'm sleeping over 12 hours. Yes, well, Aries and Chiron is still retrograde. So until it's direct, most of us still will feel tired. Again, you've got to check anything other very separately that could be going on with your ascension. If you've been purging a lot, it is very natural for your body to get worn out. I remember back in 2017, and that's why I've mentioned to you guys, end of 2017 and 18, there were major purges for me. And by the time I moved over into reunion, I had an iron infusion I needed. I had gained weight due to that, and you can actually gain weight due to iron deficiency, I believe, from the information on the internet. So you can become very gaunt. Your hair can fall out. You'll find that your irises underneath will become a little bit white. Sometimes you don't have any signs, but it can be deep fatigue. You'll also be really, really hungry, almost feeling a little bit like, you're trying to replenish that fuel, but it's not coming through. So those are the symptoms that I had. And it was and I had really gone through a deep purge. It was been probably a 10 to an 11 month, dark night of the soul, really doing a lot of inner work and the mirror work. And when I come out of it, it was like I was a cloth being squeezed. So I then got back into balance. And I do eat things these days to help balance that. And even back then I was eating kale mushrooms. I was predominantly vegetarian, but it still did affect my intake. Subjects to do with that largely will come up in the collective of well-being, especially since we had Neptune retrograde, which is our psychology. So emotionally, we can feel, especially when you're really tired, you can feel to the point where you're really agitated and you want to bite people's heads off. You must get some sleep. So if you're needing to stop and your mind is thinking, you need to rest. I do tend to find when I am really fatigued, with my stress levels, with my ability, it's better to step back, take a breather, stop what you're doing, don't directly interreact, and just acknowledge that the easy ways to deflate that stress level will be healthy diet, exercising. Sounds crazy, even if you're fatigued. Obviously, don't burn yourself out, but it's pent up energy. So you're needing to transform that energy into something, especially if you're not in an intimate connection, where you're actually pushing that into hopes, goals, dreams, so that you're not getting supercharged and, wanting to bite people's head off. Plus, on top of it, if you are, for some of you, you might be alone, you might not have people around you, which is very common through that ascension process and with what's going on at the moment. Getting the sleep, even if it's just a power nap in the afternoon, letting the ball drop a bit and just going, look, I'm fatigued, I'm overreacting, I'm really feeling like, and maybe even communicating that, learning to actually communicate that and create those healthy boundaries, and so that other people have to then own that you're fessing up, that you're saying, look, I'm really out of balance at the moment. I just need to FYI you. I'm not going to react healthy at this point. I know, especially with children, it can be super triggersome. For me in Australia, we're moving into school holidays. Our school holiday system is a lot different, and I know each country has their own lockdown energy. For us in WA, it's very different. We have been very blessed, but what is blessed these days? Some of us in the world have just worked back to back, no break whatsoever, which is really, really fatiguing. And I probably actually haven't had a holiday in 4 years, so I'm trying to get everything done so I can have a break and have a holiday, and then I can come back recharge for January. But I will be with you guys during the month. A lot of catnaps, but like I said, 8 weeks Mars retrograde, and I'm telling you, I am like an ADHD person. I mean, I call myself that because I am go gadget legs, and I can keep going. I mean, I have a lot of energy. I would just like to say that. Yeah, but when you go through separations, divorces, which some of you have done that, running a business, 7 kids I was looking after, I've had 3 deaths in my family as well. I'm surprised I'm still here. I am still here. It's not like in a sense of competition or anything to that degree, but we have to learn to listen to ourselves. And I think energetically for me, a small break, even if it's just a proper weekend, I'm literally working 7 days a week. So it's pretty much Monday through to Sunday, might be in the morning and then in the evening on a Sunday. So, taking that time where I'm not thinking about astrology or, what's going on in the collective, and just, being organized enough to have that information is what I've been working on for the last 3 months now. So I've got up to 6 months astrology worth of charts. And then when I'm going to do it, I can really hone in on that energy and concentrate on it and, direct that. Hi, Dale. Direct that in the most organized fashion that you guys regularly have, your transit information. So, with your energy, you learning to actually listen to yourself, learning to check into what you're needing, speaking to those people maybe if there's a potential agitation or something that's not working for you, and saying, hey, I'm not doing so well at the moment, can we talk about this later? And some people, especially with children with the ascension symptoms at the moment, they are going to be agitated. Certain zodiac signs may be, for those of you that are parents or single parents, it can be to the point where the boredom energy is there, the agitation, the co-creative energy, very similar to us within our chakras, needs to be addressed. But when we're going through things emotionally on our own, we can start receiving guilt that we're not doing those things for our loved ones, which can be added pressure to us, that we can't be everything to everyone. And we simply can't. And it's okay to feel that way temporarily, but to be patient. And yes, it is moving. Hi, Maria. How you doing, beautiful? So, yes, look, this eclipse in Gemini, it is a partial, I believe. How do I feel it's going to play out? It will be connected, to potentially social distancing and things to that degree. It can be subjects relating to Mercury and technology. I noticed that at the moment with the energy of technology, it has been having upgrades, which I think is really funny. Also, because we do have Scorpio in Mercury at the moment, you can find issues on your technology or think glitches occurring. Neptune can relate to, no, Uranus and Taurus can relate to the intranet. So if you find that you're going on to apps and they're not working and they're playing up, it is due to the fact that we have that energy there moving into the eclipse in Gemini. And we do also have the frequency coming through of Venus, Mercury in Scorpio. Pay attention to what's happening briefly in the media, but don't get too heavily into it. Also, pay attention to your children, because Gemini relates to children, schooling, education, your travel, your daily routine. Pay attention and be aware. If you're tired, don't be driving, because I have noticed with Mercury directly relating to the third house, accidents are more liable to happen if we're not paying attention and we do have it there, because the nodes in effect are in reverse the whole time that energy is going through. So to a degree, it can feel like a Mercury retrograde for the entire 2.5 years, but you don't have the doesn't have to be as negative as that, but it's feeling like that. So cognitively, we need to be on our A game when it does come to traveling and movement. You'll also find that you're getting sidetracked a lot more, and that is due to the fact that Gemini is a very busy energy. It wants to learn, it wants to know everything. It can be, gossip and energy and, getting sidetracked, talking to your friends on media, trying to get your work done, kids coming at you, and it can feel like a lot. So especially moving into this eclipse in Gemini, it's really important to get to a point you get very grounded. You rest. If the information is information overload, you get to a point that you can actually sit with it and absorb it, and have time here and there off technology to get grounded, and that's over the next 2.5 years. So if you've got an overload of information, it's going to be really important as we move forward into 2021 that you can pay attention to the tasks in front of you. That can be your jobs, it can be what can I say? Your jobs, your home, your life, your partnerships. Whatever that is that you're working on, you will end up getting sidetracked. Pivotal points will come through the eclipses due to the fact that the nodes are in those areas. And I do tend to find that although we say you move to the north energy and really hone in on that energy inside your zodiac sign, so for each of us, that direction is going to be Gemini. And where that lands in our birth charts, all the charts I do for you, which I'm bringing to you for December. We also will have Sagittarius energy within our charts transform. It is the south node. However, I have noticed from previous energies with the nodal effects that we do tend to transform both. I'm also seeing an energy moving into both this month and next month that is relating to the previous nodes of Cancer and Capricorn. So if you are tying those ends up, if you are really working in those areas, I mean, for instance, Cancer and, you know, Capricorn, it's vice versa. It's first house placement, seventh house placement. And it can also be the career sector as well, you know, trying to really hone in on those things and balance them out. Home and family, a lot of us collectively are looking at those things, trying to go to work or looking at what we can do to work. It probably won't make complete sense. And you do tend to find with these conjunction points moving into December, it can give us a reversal of fortune. So again, I will mention it in the videos, try and really talk about it in very human terms. So I'm not saying Saturn, Pluto conjunction or anything to that degree. I'll try as much as possible. But inside the actual video, it will be talking about, you know, how it can relate to you, what circumstances potentially could be happening in those areas. And as I mentioned, we pretty much do have 3 to 4 dates that are really heavy next month, although we need to get through this one first. So if you can, try and have that rest because your body's saying it needs it. As Aries and Chiron goes direct, it will be by mid-month and it will be near the energy of where, let me see, we'll end up having on the 14th a new moon in Sagittarius, and it's when the eclipse is occurring as well. So the next day we have Aries and Chiron going direct. Now, there will be the stationary energy. So it's almost like holding fast, and that's kind of heavy Mars energy. So pay attention to either side about 3 days. Anywhere from pretty much the 13th through to the end of that month really is going to be pretty action-packed. So you've pretty much got until about the 14th to get anything completed, get your energy back on track so that you can deal with the conjunction points. Now, as I mentioned, they can be beneficial. They're first going to occur inside of the Capricorn energy. They're then going to shift over and connect in with the Aquarius energy, which will be there for Saturn 2.5 years, I believe. No, I think it's 30. It's Jupiter. So I'll mention that in the video anyway, but it is going to be quite a large energy and there can be a bit of rebellious energy coming through next month. But nevertheless, it will be an energy that, and look, everyone's really saying we need to make it through this year. So, you know, whatever changes we see, what we've got to realize, it's a bit like going into an audit. We're going into a life audit for the world collectively. So it can be subjects to do with money, food, government, agriculture, things that were hidden, where we're going, what that trajectory is, what the restrictions may be, and how we can look at that and how we directly relate to that energy. And again, it can be a lot of things playing out in the news, but again, you can feel real shifts. Now, however it does play out, don't feel that that directly is affecting you moving forward. It is, but it isn't, because as we move forward into 2021, we do have the energy of Aquarius, which is going to be a healthier energy than what we have been receiving before. But that's not to say next month you will not feel triggered, and you can go to many astrologers and actually have a look at those. The challenging point can come through in the conjunction into 5D and 3D. Yeah, but we've got to look at our ancestors. You know, anytime similar aspects have occurred in history, society has continued. And the thing is, I remember saying to a friend the other day, and I've said it to my daughter, you know, be it we're doing jobs or be it we're doing, you know, one thing in particular, the one thing I did learn is when I was living on a farm, I didn't know how hard it was. And when I was, you know, if we were to go back into the dark ages, theoretically, you know, everything you do requires a skill. making bread, making yogurt, what that technique is, if you were to have to make furniture. And this is just an analogy. I'm not saying that's happening, but it's like sometimes we need that art of appreciation to look around and say, hey, we actually do have quite a bit. You know, what do we and don't we need? And how good and how bad are we actually when we really look at it and shred it away? Because the one thing that we hold very, very dear to our hearts is always our health and our well-being, which is, you know, the roof over our head, our security. You know, obviously we're all guiding towards love and we want that in our life, but the essential energy is always, and it sounds bloody terrible, but it's self-preservation. And it's not to say that that is a wrong thing. Moving into the energy of Aquarius is about the group. But when we're in pain, it is about thyself, but it's also very rational to a degree, where yes, we do need to, if the plane's going down, put the mask on, look after ourselves so we can help other people. There are trigger points, but I did say very separately, twins at this point of the year, this would be hard for you. Like I said, if you go back and you look at my videos, it was one of the hardest parts I went through. What kind of farm? Yeah, I had a hole in the floor and I used to cart water up to the roof. We had animals. We had acres of, we were in a third world country. So I've roughed it. I've lived the good, the bad, and the ugly. I've had a very, if I wrote a book, you wouldn't understand it because it wouldn't sound like my life. It'd be like, you haven't done that, have you? You'll just see I have. Farmed animals. Yes, I can make my own tomato paste. I can make chutneys. I can make yogurt, cordials, bread. I can even make yeast. What else can I do? Yes, I've even been a butcher. It is, but do you know what? The time goes so much slower. You appreciate it. You eat your food, you don't gain weight, you use that fuel, and you feel satisfied that you've achieved something at the end of the day. But it does break you initially. You know, my situation was very different because mine was in a third world country. Whereas, you know, traditional farms in more modern society, you have all your mod cons. This was sort of third world energy. We were washing out of a bucket for 3 years. We did have a hole in the floor to go to the powder room, you know, to go to the bathroom. We did not party. We didn't have takeout food. There was nothing to that degree. It was hard yards working. So the art of appreciation is on the other side of that. If something bad was to happen, yes, if something was to happen, I'm ready, you know, I'm ready. So it's like, you become practical. As my auntie Lois in Europe used to say, you got the first year missionary, you pick all the things out of the food and you don't eat anything. The second year missionary, you eat particular things and you push them to the side, and that can be weevils and things like that in your food. The third year, you're just eating what you're eating because you're starving. So you have a different perspective in life. And it's just an analogy. I'm not saying it happens, but it's that basis of where you get to when you're broken in and in acceptance and not in ego. You're working with it. You're not fighting it. And that's very much an egoic purge. So at a point in that process for me when I was there, I was quite young. I had a bit of a brat attack. I thought it was hell on earth. And then I had this beautiful connection with it because I had the farming and I had the herbal energy and things to that degree. Yeah. You know, I wanted to run free like a teenager, and it was like, Dad was, pretty traditional, and Mum was like, listen to your dad. You know, we were talking about that the other day between parents and talking back and forth between Mum, can I have this? Dad, can I have this? And my niece the other day asked that very question. She said, Dad, can I go down the shop and get a sticker book? And he said, go ask your mother. So my brother's going to laugh at this. And then his little girl went in and said, Mum, Dad said that you need to go down the shops and get milk, yogurt and bread and a sticker book. Is that okay? Can we do that? And she goes, yeah. And so she went running into her dad. Yeah, we're going. And he walked out and, you know, burst her little bubble. And bless the possum sock, she's a Gemini, so she's got my brother around her finger. She's a smart cookie, that one. I'm like, this one, see? Perfect communicator. She knows how to work that stuff with her dad, and he's a Sagittarius. So I thought it was quite comedy. Any questions in the house? I better get going. Have a look at lunar moth. There is a spiritual significance to it. I know that I saw that prior to union. And it was in and out, but there is a transformation at the moment. But you will find moving into New Year's and Christmas, a lot of you guys can be a little bit up and down, and that's naturally within the ascension process, but it will balance out. Yes, it is, because you get to this innate. Go check the other video I did towards, what the signs are. I mention it inside it. You'll feel this euphoric energy, like nothing matters. And I've got that energy coming back again, where even Giggle and I were experiencing that. We had a lot of comedy, a lot of dark comedy going on between us. We were laughing quite a bit. Today it's a bit different, but that's because I'm being very 3D. But the comedy aspect and the solar plexus and sacral chakra are opening up. To a degree, it's quite amusing. There's amusing energy, and we're very present in this present moment, and that's really where you need to get to. You can, like I said, I gave you the tips. Come back to this one moment. Come back to this one moment. You just got to keep working on it. Don't think about what was previously said. Don't think about what previously happened. If you're thinking about what they're doing, you have no control over that. You have to disconnect and trust the process. It's hard, but you're retraining yourself to operate differently. It will get there. It's just a trigger point because this energy is heavy. Look, it depends on the circumstance. Number one, we can plan life. That's on our side of the fence. We are allowed to look at the future as per se connected to what we choose to do, but not with other energies in it. Detaching from that and trusting the process. So with it, when we're tuning into that one individual and we're thinking of the past, 9 times out of 10, it's all the negative things. And we're trying to understand it and comprehend it. Then you need to move into the positive things. And sometimes we only tell ourselves the positive things. And because you're psychologically trying to understand it. That's okay through the first stage. Then when you come back to it, law of attraction I'll explain. And I'll explain why. And I do mention that in the video. When you actually learn to have detachment from codependency, have you ever noticed you hit a wall and you're like, this isn't working, why isn't this working? It is because universe is saying, let go. Why do you think you have communication with the twin? Because you let go. And what is detachment? It's not controlling it. It's not thinking about it. It's not you can't think about it and that communication won't come. It's you're trying to control it. You're trying to protect yourself. You're trying to keep safe. You're psychoanalyzing it like it's a chess game. You need to let go. You need to come to terms with it. Some of us do say that we needed closure. Closure won't come from them. I can give you an example. You can have a soulmate come in. Will you continue to think about that person? Yes, you will. Will you continue to think about the hurt? Yes, you will. Why? Because nobody can take that pain out. Not a replacement of a connection and not that person coming back. Only you can make peace with that. Then, with evidence, both energies can come back and work together. But they can't directly fix it. It's done. Coming to terms with it, and then changing your perspective and saying, I'm open to a new way of being. So when it does come to manifesting, you will actually gauge the fact that in moving forward, it's our ego that feels we know what's best for us. We don't need to manifest. The universe, 9 times out of 10, have you ever noticed anything you fear and you manifest? Why? Because the ego is involved, not the heart. Manifestation is not required. Anything universe feels you are meant to learn in this lifetime and meant to have will come to you. So all you need to do is be the correct vibration, and anything you're deserving of will come towards you. You won't need to manifest. Does that make sense? Because when I thought I knew better, I didn't do better. I attracted yin and yang because I was trying to psychoanalyze it. In belief of self is different. In learning from situations is different. But needing to fixate on it, trust me, it doesn't work. It gets messy because, again, it's third eye and not heart. Heart is a vibration of attraction. When I've thought of things, I've got the yin and yang. If I think anything in my head, it gets so strong, I'm like, even if I sense I can channel energies of karmics, I can channel energies of my twin, my daughter, what's coming up in the collective. When I tune into something and I'm not liking the vibration, I tune out because my mind can co-create that, and I'm very, very careful what I co-create. Very careful, because I've seen some real profound things and I'm just not willing to go there. So in a manifestation with Abraham Hicks, to a degree, yes, I believe that, but it's more the laws of attraction are working with Mother Nature. That is my belief system. You do not, it's like, why am I saying, come back to this one moment? Same principle, get into your vortex. Come back to this one moment, because we are living in the past or we're living too far in the future. And we can when we're meditating and comprehending. That's okay. But then when you feel yourself kind of getting off kilter, it's asking you, okay, time to meditate. Come back to this one moment. Does that make sense? So too much, too much. You're too much over there, too much over there, too much up here. Come back to this one moment, okay? Then things come to you. If you think, oh, it's going to take 20 years, come back to this one moment. No. You're telling it no. You're telling your mind, you're telling that channel energetically, no, I'm disconnecting from that. I will not tap into that fear-based frequency. The same when you are getting triggered with your masculine. If you're attacking, come back to this one moment. You can't control what they do. We are not parents. We are our own parent. If we don't like what they're doing, we can articulate that we don't like that. But what they do is their power and it's their education and it's their responsibility. Okay? Us choosing to do those things as well as, yeah, I was just that. Yeah. Childhood. Yeah. Yeah. It is. So you just gotta, keep your vibration pure, but agitation is something galore. Okay? And trust me, I've masked people. Well, I have, and I have not been. So don't think that, if you guys are on a lower frequency and you're really struggling, that nothing's gonna move. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You're human. Keep saying that. I'm human. Yeah. I'm gonna love you and leave you because I need to go and spend some time with my partner. And get into these videos all night. So I hope any of this somehow has helped. Don't be surprised if you see something in the media linking to a public figure being removed, moved, changed, passing, sports star. This can be president, prime minister, king, queen, singer. And I have told Giggle a premonition I've had, but I'm not really up for saying it on here. Although I have told her I will mention one energy I have been channeling. Oh, what's his name? Kanye West. I do believe there's going to be something profound in the news relating to Kanye West, and it probably won't be of a good nature. But we won't see. I hope I'm wrong. But we'll see how it goes. Love and light.